Welcome to the Eussen Designer Speaker Series with Billy Blue College of Design at Torrens University. Today we're speaking with Naomi Brand from the Brand Collective Property Styling. Welcome, Naomi.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great to have you here. Now, property styling is incredibly topical these days, but before we get into actually what that represents, how did you get started in the industry?
Oh, I for as long as I can remember, have loved styling and rearranging rooms. Even as a child, we'd go over to our families' homes and I'd beg them to let me rearrange and show them all the different ways that you could lay out a room. It was just something that really fulfilled me and excited me. So, you know, school maths, I near flunked, but art, I came first.
Now, is that always the way? People are either highly creative or highly academic. Hello.
Yes.
But everyone mentions maths.
Exactly.
I've flunked maths, so I've gone creative.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's amazing how much maths you actually do use in a creative sense anyway.
Yeah. You do need to bring some of that back in. But so I think it was a natural progression for me, and also from, I grew up in a very theatrical family. My mother a ballerina, my father a musician. So growing up on the stage myself with ballet, you know, movement, imagination, creation, I think just all played a part as to where I am today.
Natural progression. So did you formalise study?
I did.
With this? Yeah. What did you do?
I did. I actually studied interior design at the Commercial Arts Training College, and they were amazing. So I studied part-time in the evenings while I worked a corporate job. I couldn't get away from it. I was driven to follow my passion, and I learned a lot from that. Yeah.
So what's one of the things, I guess, or some of the things that your education did provide you with?
It taught me the basic techniques, which obviously was such an amazing foundation that I needed to start with, because there is so much to learn, as well as following your own style, and which you gain as you go along. Sure. They taught me about, you know, colour, just to pick one, such an amazing and important sector of styling, because it creates emotions and moods in people, especially working in the real estate industry, which is one of our parts of our business. We have to encourage an emotional reaction in potential purchases. So colour, therefore, is so important. That was one of the main things I did learn.
Yeah, it's amazing how much more confident we are in using colour these days. And I think we can thank a lot of the reality shows, the TV programs, the design shows that show how to use colour as well. So we're more aware of what it can actually represent.
Yes.
Is there anything your education perhaps didn't provide you for the real world?
I learned a lot from experience being out in the industry. One is an obvious one, dealing with you know, clients and you know, it's that there is a lot to learn in that regard. Layout, I actually learned a lot myself, which I thought was quite interesting, because I went into so many different rooms and every room is different, and I put my own take on that. But you need to learn not to rush, to be very patient. So that again is something I think you learn with your own experience.
Yeah. And I guess you need to be on the job to actually learn that, don't you? It's not such a technical thing. What about, you did interior design, but you're now specialising in property styling.
Yes, that's right.
It is amazing how, I guess, it's become such a go-to when people are selling houses these days. Why do you think that is?
Well, for a start, it makes such a difference in the home. I mean, walking into a vacant property as opposed to walking into a styled property, instantly you're more attracted to the styled property. Especially if there's another 10 on that same street on the market, they're going to remember the one that's styled. And again, coming back to the emotional reaction, people purchase on emotion, and they're going to remember that property as opposed to the one down the road that didn't have anything in it, or perhaps had an old sofa. Sure.
What are some of the mistakes people make in styling a property? When I say that without professional guidance.
I think one of the largest mistakes is putting too much furniture in a room and cluttering. So one of the things I say first and foremost is declutter and depersonalise your home, because people want to come in and imagine themselves living there, and they also want to see space. People want to buy space, but you still want to see that you can fit the key elements and the key items in a room, so they don't have to think. So we're sort of telling a story, so it can create flow from room to room, which again allows the buyer not to think and not to have to visualise, because not everyone can visualise.
Sure, yeah. What about a bedroom? I mean, in the instant where you've got a smaller bedroom, it's perhaps not the master bedroom.
Yes.
I guess instinct would say make it look bigger and put a single bed in there. Would you recommend that, or what's your theory on that?
If we can fit a double bed in a room, I'll put a double bed in a room. Right. Yeah, purely because they cannot visualise. So I shouldn't say everyone, but most people can't visualise if you don't have a double bed in that room. They'll instantly think, oh, well, it will only fit a single bed.
Yes.
And they'll be, you know, perhaps a little bit discouraged by that.
Right.
Yeah.
What about colour? Colour in small rooms,
Yes.
larger rooms. What's your theory on that?
There's a few different theories on this one. I believe to keep it quite light, actually, if it is a small room. And that's just my personal opinion. I feel that if it is too dark, it can sometimes make the room feel a little bit smaller, and you really want to lift it. You want to lighten it up because it can make it feel just that little bit more spacious. And also, if it is small, you want it to be uplifting.
Sure.
Yeah, which again, light colour creates.
Yeah. Also, opinion on personal photographs. I mean, we all love our families, we love our kids, we want to show them off.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
I would say no. As I'm pretty cutthroat when it comes to that with my clients.
You haven't seen my kids?
No, I'm sure they're gorgeous.
Is that rule of thumb? Depersonalised?
Rule of thumb, depersonalised, yeah. 10 out of 10. Because, as I said, it's psychological for clients or potential purchasers coming into a home. They want to imagine themselves living there.
Right. Yeah,
and if you see somebody else's child on the wall, as beautiful as they are,
yes.
it can sometimes be a distraction.
Yeah. It's interesting how people think of styling the home from the inside, but it's actually more than that, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
yes.
So where do we start?
You start at the front gutter, at the lawn, at the mailbox, at the front door, because you need to grab them as soon as they enter the property.
Yeah.
You know, it starts from remulching the garden, perhaps, you know, greenery is so important and it's so popular, it's so on trend, tropical luxe. You know, I say to a lot of people, plant agaves, cordylines. You've really got to make an impression immediately.
Sure, yeah. So start from the front fence or the gutter, as you
Yes.
say, and work your way forward.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it's a journey all the way through and, you know, until they leave.
Yeah. So in a property styling situation, if I engage a property stylist, Naomi, do you come in and just get rid of everything and bring new things in, or do you work with what we've got, or a combination of the two?
We actually offer both. Ideally, we'd like to work with a vacant property where we can bring everything in ourselves, because that way we can really tell a story and create flow with all of the pieces that we decide to use, from artwork to floor rugs to accessories, you know, shapes, textures, all of those sorts of things. We do partial styling as well, and that's working with the client's items, but we will say, look, you'll have to remove these and we'll just tweak it slightly to give it the lift it needs to really make that impact, because photography is so important as well.
Yes,
you know, people are already making their decisions when they're scrolling through realestate.com and deciding which houses they're going to view.
Sure. Is there a rule of thumb as to, I guess, the percentage that one can expect to gain on their sale by investing in a property stylist, or, I mean, without being too specific?
Yeah, without being too specific, because they all vary, but the majority of the houses that we have done are always sell above the reserve. There is, you know, tenfold. It's amazing the difference it does make and the return that they do receive as to the amount they're paying for the property styling.
Sure, yeah. And I guess at the moment our property market is on the slide,
yes.
As we're hearing right through the media. But I suppose it's irrelevant about whether properties, whether sale prices are up or down, because you're still competing in a market
yes.
with other homes.
Exactly.
So you want to be at top of the game.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you really shouldn't think of the market. You should think of your actual own situation.
That's right, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Naomi, some of the highlights. One of the project you've worked on that you'd like to share with us?
Okay, gosh, there's several. I would say one of my favourites would be my first job that I ever did when I went out on my own. It was this beautiful townhouse in Crow's Nest, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, if these people actually hired me to style their home, can I pull this off?
I'm actually professional.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually, is this actually happening? Oh God. And I went in there and it was amazing. They absolutely loved it. We just created a whole different look, which is what they wanted, rather than every other styling, you know, job that may have been previously in the current area. And we just gave it a real fresh take. I remember sitting in the courtyard at the end and looking back in. It was a beautiful open plan, and I just thought, wow, I did it. This is amazing, and you can do it if you believe in yourself. You can really, you know, and that would be obviously my advice to anyone looking to get into it as well.
Sure. And the home successfully sold?
Absolutely, yeah. It actually was one of the best-selling townhouses in the street.
Wow,
so,
fantastic. Yeah, nice result.
Yeah.
What about something you've learnt from your experience of styling that maybe you could pass on to would-be stylists that
Yes.
are listening to this?
There are a lot of learning curves, I will say that, but it's so worthwhile. One of the things I guess I've learnt is, and I'm still learning, I'm always still learning, is...
That's a great response, because I think that's just being very real.
Yeah.
We're continually learning about our own experiences, and then that gains our character and our portfolio. So I think that's also relevant to share. Thank you.
Yeah, so true, John. Yeah, I mean, layout is something that I've actually sometimes battled with, and I've had to accept that, and I've learnt so much. I think once I accepted that, even more. Not every room, when you walk into a room, don't rush. Don't, look at it from different angles, look at it from different perspectives, because your first thought isn't always the right thought. Really use your imagination and trust in that, and just be patient. That's one thing I've learnt. Be patient, yeah. And mistakes, I believe, is a natural part of a growth experience.
Absolutely, yeah. Very wise, very real. When you walk into a room or an environment within the home, it just doesn't feel right, and you sense that. What could that be? I know we're not being specific to a room, but when something doesn't feel right, what, in your viewpoint from experience, what could it be?
Again, I would circulate and spend a little bit of time, if I can, in the space. It could be many things. It could be a sofa cutting off the room. It could be the layout. Layout is so important. I know I keep coming back to it because I think it's one of my largest learning curves. It could be, is there too much room? Are there too many items in the room? Is there too many pieces of artwork on the walls? Is the lighting right? Are there lights? Is there a floor rug creating a zone? Does it make sense? What kind of colours are they in tune with each other? Sure. So it's really, as I say, taking your time and discovering what the room is telling you.
Sure, yeah. What would you do in a situation where there isn't enough natural light? How do you try and create that?
Yes. Oh gosh, I come across these a lot, and I am a lover of natural light. First thing is to bring in table lamps and floor lamps. So this just creates a nice ambience as well. Again, using lighter furniture as well. Perhaps they have a dark sofa in their room, which of course isn't allowing that light to come in. A lighter colour floor rug, lifting your furniture. Dark wood probably wouldn't be the way to go in a dark room. And just use white. White is one of my favourite hues to use.
And recently the whitewashed floors are making such a comeback that it does make such an impact in a small space, doesn't it?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk in, it lifts it, it opens the space up.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a particular style that's influenced you in your learnings and also in your practice?
I would say so, actually. I love Scandi boho, perhaps because my great-grandmother is Swedish, I'm not sure, but again, coming back to the white on white on white. Yeah. I love white, I love raw woods, beautiful rattans, chairs and lights, and tropical luxe is something I'm obsessed with at the moment.
I love those two words. It's a contradiction, isn't it?
Yes,
But
yeah.
when you put them together, it is such a style.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. A beautiful green, oversized banana plant in the corner just makes such an impact, especially with the whites. So it all tells a beautiful story, and it's an uplifting space to sort of be in.
Yeah, sure. So for people wanting to learn more about the Brand Collective Property Styling, how do they contact you?
Well, we have our website, www.brandcollectivepropertystyling. Contact us there on Instagram, Brand Collective Styling. We're starting some fun things on there, some live segments where we'll be talking about tips and tricks. I've noticed a lot of our clients lack confidence when it comes to styling their own home. So I really want to change that and start letting people know that it's not so overwhelming, it's not so scary. They just need to know where to look and perhaps source certain pieces of furniture. Sure. So there'll be a lot happening on Instagram, but yeah.
Yeah, so where do we see Naomi Brand in the future?
Well, hopefully doing segments like that is our goal at the moment. So I found that there is a bit of a hole in the market there, and I I really want people to enjoy styling their own home. Their home is their haven.
Sure.
So, I'm so lucky I get to do it every day, and I want them to be able to do that with confidence as well.
And it's not just about selling the home, is it?
No.
I mean, you should style your home and live in it. And I think that's
Absolutely.
the shame that people actually, one of the downfalls is that people style and finish their home to sell it.
Exactly.
But we should be living in that
Absolutely.
environment all the time.
Yes, yeah. A lot of my clients actually say that, John. They say, oh God, we don't recognise it, now we don't want to sell it. You know, can you come and do our new home? So this is, we're sort of venturing now into more how to style your own home for you to live in and enjoy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Naomi. Thank you
My
for joining
pleasure.
us today.
Thank you so much, John.
You